Today we are in my office because it's time to talk business. So welcome to the February No Buy review. Woohoo! Story time, first and foremost. The last time I went to Target, according to my bank statements, was September 2023. It is now the end of February. I bring this up because I almost went to Target this month. And I also epitomize the Target girly who goes in for milk and then leaves spending $300 on face masks, glitter pins, and anything from Magnolia Home. I've never actually done that, but stereotype here. But I say I almost went to Target because I didn't. I was gonna go get a couple of new pairs of period underwear. Emmett needed sippy cups, and I was like, ooh, maybe I'll get my husband a Valentine's Day card. I thought this would be great because it gets Emmett out of the house for a little bit. I get to walk around, be a little distracted. Then I thought about how expensive period underwear is. Don't get me started. Specifically at Target. So I went on Amazon to see if I could get it cheaper because I have a ton of Amazon gift card money, and I could. So I just ordered the underwear, Emmett's sippy cups, and that was it. I avoided the impulse purchases I most certainly would have made if I'd walked into that store. And so when I logged into my bank account here to do the roundup video, I was so excited about how the account balances are going up and the debts are going down. It may be by just minuscule amounts in the grand scheme of things, but they are going in the right direction. And it's because of choices like this. But I digress. Let's get back into the segments that you are growing to love. I have pie charts and everything. Yay for visuals! Because now we actually have some stuff to compare. So last month, I was just going with the flow. I was not spending much because of my no buy year. And if you don't know about why I'm doing the no buy year, go and watch this video. Go watch that video to get caught up on why we're here. But this month, I began to monitor my spending a little bit more closely. Basically, I'm making graphs and going through my statements just like Caleb Hammer would do on Financial Audit. So if you haven't been watching his show, I highly encourage you to do that. It is part of the inspiration for this entire nonsense that I'm working on and why I'm making pie charts and graphs and going through my bank statements being like, this is BS. One of my secret goals is to apply for his show next January after I've done this for a whole year and either weep openly because I apparently can't get out of this debt by myself, or be the first person on any of the videos I've ever seen him do that gets a good Hammer financial score. But let's dive into it. On spending. This may be small, but I only put $13 on my credit card this month. So I only swiped it one time, and obviously I immediately paid it off. I don't think that my husband and I are credit card people yet. I'm starting to not think of it like free money, obviously, but I am still thinking about it like an emergency fund, which is not the idea. So I would rather just not put anything on these credit cards at all. The rewards, the cash back, all that stuff just isn't very good. I'd rather just buy myself nothing and save the hassle. But it is a different type of habit to use my debit card instead of my credit card when I'm out buying gas, or if I'm out with a friend and I'm oh, I don't know if my automatic payments are gonna have enough money in my account because the budget is so tight. So let me just put it on my credit card and I'll pay it later. But I obviously have enough money. And if I just curb all of this BS spending, then I won't have to worry about it. So this month, I was really trying to be empowered by the balances going up and the debts going down. I get a little high watching them get higher and higher each week after each payday, and them not being immediately drained out. And also I've been working a ton. So my business checking account, which I don't include in here, is also going up a lot. So it's oh, I know I'll have enough money to run my payroll for myself. So that's a whole other level of stress that's just gone. It's so freeing. Pie chart time. So let's go back and review January 1st. January, my bills, it was a whopping $1,600. It was 67% of my spending. Holy crap. Savings, $339, just literally not enough, but at least it's something. BS spending, under $100, which should be nothing, but it was a couple of little stupid things that I just didn't need. Medical, we have that giant, huge medical bill that I'm desperately trying to pay off, but I'm still fighting. So I just pay what I have to pay on it. And then that little tiny sliver that you see does not have a label is gas. It is only $24.21 because most of my gas goes on my business account. I don't go places if I'm not going for work. But what we will see now is in February, the bills amount drops a couple $100, which basically is just me not having to pay off my own personal credit card debt. So although technically it is more of the pie chart for this month, the total is less, but I'm still actively, aggressively trying to pay off the credit card. That's money that I put into the house account for our regular bills. things like that. I also increased the amount of money I put into the house account every week. And basically that money is coming from like what I would spend putting money back on my credit card, which I don't have to do because I'm not using it. As you can see, February savings, jokes. So like in January, I saved like a ton of money because I was trying to meet this goal in my personal emergency fund, and I met it. And then after I met it, I was like, oh, I don't need to put as much money in there. Obviously not true. It's not a 6-month emergency fund, not a year emergency fund, which I should do because I am self-employed. So we're just like nowhere close to that. My BS spending went up, up, up. Are you kidding me? I don't even have like a good excuse because it was probably food out in the world. Yet again, it's like probably way less than most people, but like still not great. And also the medical bill, that amount went down because I just realized it doesn't have any interest or penalties, so I'll just pay what I want when I want. And then that other little sliver without a label again is gas, and that was $31. So we took a personal trip, so I filled up my car with my own money. The debt is just not going down as fast as I wanted to. But let's get into it. The less than positive moments for this month. The spending, the total bullshit spending was not great. Not great. I got a car wash. I didn't need a car wash. I didn't need a sticker from the museum. I didn't need the 2 times I went to McDonald's. It's just so good. So the fact that I spent more in February than January is like totally disappointing because I'm trying to do a no-buy year anyway. I don't know why this is happening. It's not all that much money in the grand scheme of things because we're not buying anything for the house either on like the house account stuff. But like for me personally, like I'm trying to do no buy. Why am I buying anything? And also it's just like an obscene amount of money to go towards bills. Not stoked about that total either. Because if you're working with the 50-30-20 rule, 75% is just like way too much to go towards my bills. And I don't even pay our bills 50-50. My husband makes like over 2 times as much money as I do. So he pays like 2/3 of the bill amounts and I pay 1/3. But that's still how much I'm spending on bills and putting towards our bills and our debt, our credit card debt anyway. And that's just too much. But from a recent NPR article, I am learning that this isn't just like me, because the majority of that is like our mortgage, my portion of the mortgage. So this NPR study showed that like way more millennials are spending more than 50% on their needs, specifically housing, because it is just so freaking expensive and they feel like they cannot choose to live somewhere cheaper except like at home if they wanted to, because of the type of stuff that's available, that type of housing that's available specifically. Also, another like sad thing is that the SodaStream fix didn't really work. I should have known. It does work a little bit better, but like we're still having to like MacGyver it a little bit. And I'm now realizing I'm probably gonna have to budget for a new SodaStream. So let's just summarize the numbers. Let's just get it over with. This is just a first comparison. It's just January to February. And of course I'm feeling like sad because it didn't go exactly how I wanted it to, but there are still wins. It's still worth looking at it. So the Wells Fargo, $0. The Capital One is down. The medical debt went up for some reason. Don't know what's going on there. And it's not interest or penalties. I think it's 3 different visits that are like still pending on insurance. But anyway, so it skewed my numbers for this month. Jerks. And we haven't done anything with the personal loan or with the loan to my father-in-law. So the total that I owe is $18,452.47. And you're like, Casey, that's like the same number as last month. No, it's not. As you can see in this graph right here, January's debt was $18,784.52. February's is $18,452.47. Went down. The debt went down. And the savings, as you can see in this graph, went in January from $6,900 to $7,100. Not great, but it went up. It went up, it went up, it went up. Things are going in the right direction. They're just going slower than I want them to. And like just a fun little tidbit that's not in these graphs is that there was $500 more in my checking account at the end of this month than there was last month, which is great, which means that money should be going to a savings account. And it will be. But the fact that there's like some wiggle room and some breathing room in my checking account is like really reassuring. Especially after the last year, it was basically in like the 3 digits almost 100% of the time, even after payday. Eesh. And just to mention this, these are not all of the data points. Like this is just the stuff I'm sharing with you guys. Like, so our house savings account, we do have a house emergency fund. We do have money set aside for Emmett. We do have like a home checking account. I'm not including those numbers because the money isn't just mine. that is money that like I have access to, but it's not meant for paying my debts. But don't worry, Emmett's college fund has been started. But if you want to help me get a little closer to making him available to go to Harvard, all the money that I make on YouTube goes directly into Emmett's college fund. So if you want to become a member, it's like real affordable. Or if you really just want to help me out, hit that subscribe button if you do not already subscribe. And I'm trying to make it to 1,000 subscribers. Pretty please, help. Thank you in advance. So, what are the things coming up next month? Now that I've got this absolutely depressing information in front of me, how do I move forward? How do I not get disappointed? So March, the plan is to pay the Capital One off. I want it gone. I want it done. I want it gone. However, our car insurance is due. We pay our car insurance in 4 chunks throughout the year because it used to save us money. Now it doesn't. It's just an overwhelming bill that pops up every once in a while. And because we are obviously not budgeting our house account correctly, that money isn't there. It's not available. So that's something we definitely need to look at and figure out what's going on. We are overspending. We are putting that money aside, but it's apparently not staying in that account. So we're gonna have to find some money to pay the car insurance. Excellent news. We just got word from our accountant today that we will be getting a 4-digit refund from our taxes. Oh my God. Like I looked at the email and I was like, oh God, this is gonna be bad news. I'm gonna have to figure out where to get this money. I'm gonna have to drain my emergency fund to pay my taxes. No. All the stuff that my accountant did last year to help me make sure that I'm paying myself, that I'm withholding taxes for state and federal, the stuff that Dan did to make sure he was doing stuff correctly. Our baby also is a deduction. Our house, which we haven't really properly gotten the benefits of, is also a deduction. All of those are paying off. So we are going to have some extra money to help not only bolster these savings accounts, but also help pay down a bigger chunk of this debt a little bit faster. So in March, you have to come back. You have to see graphs that actually look different from the ones from the month before in a noticeable way. And I cannot wait to physically see that change. I know that I like make these graphs and it's not like really scientific or anything, but seeing the small changes is really a motivator for me. So I think March is gonna be good. We're gonna file those taxes today, get that refund, pay some dollars off. Let's go. So yeah, that's where we're at for February. This was kind of a mess. But look, I'm figuring it out. It's really freaking hard. I feel like I'm spending absolutely nothing, but apparently I am spending $111 on stuff that I don't have to be spending $111 on. So March, we're not playing that game. 0 is the goal. Really, I just want Caleb Hammer to tell me I'm doing a good job. So Caleb, if you're like watching this or anybody from your team is, like, give a girl a shout out, give a girl a hint, give her some encouragement so that when I come on your show next January and I come to Austin, we can either laugh or cry at how terrible I'm doing or how amazing I'm doing, pulling myself up by the bootstraps, doing extra stuff to get paid some more money and trying everything I possibly can to, while owning a business, owning a home, and having a baby, be a more responsible adult. Fingers crossed. Thank y'all for coming back to check out the update, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Okay, so I have a few minutes while Dan takes the baby to the grocery store. So it is currently February 5th, Emmett's 8-month birthday. We have done so well. I have eaten out 0 times. 0. Even though I've been out and about shooting all the time, running from place to place, I have not stopped and gotten myself food and brought it home or eaten it in between shoots. We're packing food, we're eating it home. Very helpful. I just made my first possibly not completely necessary purchase, which was the replacement piece for the SodaStream that I talked about in last month's wrap-up video. If you haven't seen that, you don't know anything about my SodaStream being broken, and what are you doing? Go watch that. So it was weird to like make that purchase. It felt weird. I was like, oh God, this is so much money. It wasn't that many monies, but it was what it was. So I'm able to be really on top of making sure that every extra penny I have goes to savings. And we're having a good time. We're hanging out with Emmett more. And it's only 5 days into February. So hopefully we keep on keeping on this positive train. So February, so far so good. No unforeseen emergencies yet, but we'll see. Okay, so we are about halfway through the month, And today was like the perfect, sustainable, minimal, money-saving day. Sunday, we cleaned the house. We were meal prepping food for Emmett because it's so much cheaper to just make it ourselves. Dan cut us some apples and an old pear, and he made like apple pear sauce for the baby, which didn't take him very long because we had the right tools, luckily. So that's why this works for us, because like we have the time, we can meal prep his breakfasts for the week, and it's fine. And then I sat and I was able to sew some pajamas that Emmett ripped some holes in the toes because he's pushing himself around in this go-kart all the time and ripping little holes in the toes. And so instead of just like throwing them away, I'm repairing them because that's one of our values. And I was just thinking today that that's how it should be. It shouldn't be just, oh, well, if I'm not treating my stuff with respect or I wear it out, I should just throw it away or get rid of it. No, like, we have the resources. We are so wealthy in resources, not necessarily money, obviously, but in the skills that I have to fix holes in clothes, the skills Dan has to prepare food for our baby. It's just recognizing it, recognizing that we have those skills and that wealth, and that is a form of wealth. It's not just about how much money you have to buy new pajamas or buy baby food for the baby. It's what skills do you have, what knowledge do you have? And as a person who very much values knowledge, I should have figured this out before now, but here we are. I'm looking at, the accounts, and Dan is really on board and has been really great. We did buy Emmett a new training potty as we start thinking about potty training. But other than that, like, our household account has more money in it at this point in the month than it normally does. My personal account has more money in it than it normally does at this point, even though I bought a car wash and a couple of other things. It's refreshing to look at the statements and be like, oh my gosh, oh yeah, I remember we bought that. Oh yeah, I remember we bought that. Oh yeah, I remember that. Everything is very intentional right now. I'm feeling positive. I'm feeling encouraged. I'm feeling happy about it. So let's see if we can keep it up.